So here we go, first step. Open the door on your rail. Look down at your left knee and there is a hood latch. Come to the front of the vehicle and pop the hood. Bam. And here we have the master cylinder right here. And behind it is a hydro boost. And I'll explain the difference between a hydro boost and a vacuum boost here in a little while. So the first thing I like to do is get these lines off. And you normally use a wrench like this, a line wrench. But if you don't have one, believe it or not, I found that you can use a crescent wrench. And I think the reason why is because it's wider than a normal wrench and you have more surface area to hold the line. And it really does work good. And I know a lot of people comment and say, that's unprofessional, but this works. Just make sure when you do it, you have it as tight as it can be on that line so it doesn't slip and strip the nut. Now that they're cracked loose, I snugged them back up so they wouldn't leak. And now we're gonna go to the 2 bolts in the back of the master cylinder. And there are 2 nuts, one on each side. Sometimes there's 3, like one on top of each of the other one, holding like a bracket on or something. This one just has 2. And now for the other side. And this one also has a bolt holding the lines on to the bottom of the bracket, so I'm going to take it off. You know, they're all going to be a little bit different, have variances. You'll just have to deal with that. There's not much difference. And now I'm going to go back to the lines that I loosened up previously, but snug back down. The reason I do that is you want to break them loose first. Then take your 2 nuts off on the back of the master cylinder, and then take these off. And the reason why I don't take the lines off at first is because I don't want this thing dripping all over inside of the truck. By doing it this way, I can just remove the master cylinder quickly without it getting fluid all over everything. So here we go. So see, if it was sitting in the truck still, it'd be dripping out of those lines the whole time while you're trying to get the 2 nuts off of there. I'm just going to spill this old fluid out. So now let's see what we got. The new master cylinder. Wow. Wow! This one comes with a reservoir. And sometimes, because this is a remanufactured unit, they don't come with a reservoir sometimes if they're reman. And the only reason I'm putting a reman on there is because I'm selling this thing. And don't need to put a high-dollar brand new one on there if I'm selling it. So here we are with this master cylinder in my hot little hands. And it came with 2 little nuts. See there, they're plastic nuts. What you're going to do is simply screw these nuts into these holes here to block them off. Some master cylinders, when you get them, won't have these nuts. What they'll have is 2 nuts and 2 pieces of hose. And in that case, you screw your nuts in, you take the hose and you put it inside the reservoir. Take the cap off. So you'll take your nut, screw it in here, it'll have a hose come off of it. You put it into your reservoir. And you'll see why here in a minute. So come around here with me. On the back of the truck here, I have mounted the master cylinder. Just vice gripped it up against the truck here. If you have a vise, would be very nice. And you have to securely mount that master cylinder. This next step, indubitably, is the most important part of replacing a master cylinder. So pay attention. Just snug these up a little bit, I like to. Just so they don't leak. Just snug them a little bit. You know, they're plastic, so it doesn't take much. Next, I don't fill it usually, but I'll put about halfway up. Maybe 3/4, whatever. Now the most important part, as I said, here is a screwdriver, nice big Phillips screwdriver. And you'll just simply put it on the end of this master cylinder here and push it in. And you just keep pumping it. And so now I will change the camera angle and show you why. So as you pump this, as you guys can see, there's air bubbles coming out of there. So you'll continue to pump this thing until all those air bubbles are gone. Just keep on pumping away, just like you're pressing on the brake pedal. Pump, pump. And sometimes, see, I like to push it in and just hold it, because sometimes it takes just a little bit before it gets all out. You'll have a little bit seep out of these holes. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Guys, you really want to make sure this part's done right. You don't want any bubbles on there coming out of there at all. I mean, none. Very important. And you'll notice when you do this, as you get close to being done, this gets very firm and goes in a lot shorter distance than when you started. In other words, the screwdriver won't go way in there. It'll just start going a little bit. That's how you know no bubbles and a short travel there. That's how you know you got it bled out good, guys. So next, with the plugs still installed there, just leave them in there for now. We're going to reinstall our master cylinder. So now just go ahead and tighten these two nuts back here in the back of the master cylinder. You know, crank them down. Get it done. And now we'll just reconnect these lines right here. Just do them one at a time. And again, the reason for this is just, you just don't want a bunch of fluid spilling all over inside of your buggy. Brake fluid getting all over everything, eating your paint and everything else. Brake fluid will eat paint. Always start these lines with your fingers. Never. I repeat, never. Try and force them on with a wrench or something like that. Believe me, you will be sorry. Do not do that. Make sure they're threaded in good before you put your wrench on there. And when it's on, make sure it's real easy to turn, like so. You do not want to cross thread a flare fitting in aluminum. Not good. So now just top it off with fluid. Top your master cylinder off with fluid. So next you want to come in here and pump your brakes up. Make sure they feel real good and firm. And these feel good. The reason I'm doing it with my hand is so that the camera doesn't move all over the place if I do it with my foot on the seat. But yeah, these feel good. They feel great. Real firm. So typically, if you do this repair the way I showed you how to do it, you won't have any air in the system. If you do, guys, don't try to sue me and this and that, you know. Just go to each wheel and bleed the brakes out. I'll have to show you that in another video. But if you still have air in the system, don't drive it. And like I say, don't drive it and try and sue me and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any money anyways. Guys, how do you know if a master cylinder is bad to start with? The normal signs of a bad master cylinder is they'll either have no brakes at all and the pedal will just go to the floor when you're trying to stop, or you'll get stopped at a stop sign and you'll notice that the pedal just slowly keeps creeping down, creeping down, creeping down. Come to a stop sign, it stops, you're holding the brake, and it just creeps down, creeps down, creeps down. That's a bad master cylinder. One more thing, I promised that I would show the differences between a vacuum boost and a hydro boost, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so again, this is a hydro boost, and these lines are going down to a power steering pump. That's how a hydro boost works. It hooks into the power steering pump, and through that hydraulic pressure, it makes it easier to push the pedal down so you don't have to put so much effort into stopping the truck. The reason I say truck is because these are normally found in a 3/4 ton truck or a 1 ton truck. Sometimes maybe even a 1/2 ton truck. A hydro boost, that's where you'll find them. Normally on a passenger car or a 1/2 ton truck or a small truck, they'll have a vacuum boost, which I'm going to show you now. So wow, yeah, I need to do a little maintenance here on my corroded battery terminal. Anyways, if you'll look over here, this is a vacuum booster. So this is vacuum assist instead of a hydraulic assist. And the way it works is there's a vacuum line right there that goes to your manifold. So when you push the brake pedal, instead of having to put a big bunch of effort, just like the Hydro Boost, you just ease the pedal down and you get a lot of force into your master cylinder, making the vehicle stop a lot easier. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. If you like this video and you like videos like this, subscribe to my channel, guys. I got a lot more projects coming up. Give me a thumbs up. That always helps my ratings, or however the heck YouTube works. I don't know. And we'll see you next time, guys.